Hi Paula, my name's Marcia Dugan and I'm here to cook a Philadelphia cream cheese recipe for you. Something that I've been cooking for my family and friends for years. That is a dynamite recipe, and I'm actually trying to prove to the cooking network out there that cheese is allowed to be served with fish, because this is a fantastic recipe. Okay, so we're going to start by creaming. It would be nice if I told you the recipe. It is a tilapia, which is stuffed with a Cajun crab shrimp stuffing. Fantastic. So we're going to start by creaming our cream cheese with a mix of vegetables that I call, and what everyone down south calls, the Trinity. That is finely diced peppers, onions, and celery. And then for a kick, I have to always add at least 2 tablespoons of garlic, because garlic's probably good in everything, including probably donuts. But in the meantime, we're going to mix all these ingredients and cream them together. I'm going to add about half a cup of Parmesan cheese. There's some more cheese for our fish. We're going to add a bunch of spices. I have them all pre-mixed here, but I will tell you what it is. We have about half a teaspoon of ground cayenne pepper. We have 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, a little garlic powder, and that's about it. I'm going to add that to the mix. Okay. I finely diced all of the peppers, onions, and celery. In addition to that, the garlic as well. Very finely diced. I used red and green pepper just for the colorful aspect of it. We're going to add about half a cup of peppers, a 1/4 cup of onions, 2 tablespoons of garlic, and 1 stalk of celery. We're going to reserve about 1/4 cup to mix with our rice with the entree. Cream cheese is a little hard, but that'll soften right up while it sits out for a while. Okay, to that mixture, I just added about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, which will help bind it up when we add the breadcrumbs. And at this point in time, I'm going to take 1 16-ounce container of lump crab meat. And you have to go through the crab meat because you want to make sure that there is no cartilage or shells in the crab meat. So at this point in time, I'm going to go through the crab meat, dice up some shrimp to add to our mixture. Okay, so what we have here is nice cleaned lump crab meat. I'm going to add that to my mixture in the bowl, 16 ounces. This also is a double batch. So at the end of this, I will show you what you can do with the leftover stuffing, because this is enough for 1 entree and a whole bunch of yummy appetizers. About a pound of diced shrimp going right into the bowl there. Move that over here. Get a nice new one. Okay, we're going to mix this up. Fold it nice and gently. We don't want... Some people can, I guess, use a food processor. I kind of like the lumps. I like it to stay nice and lumpy, so you get that full mouth feel of the shrimp and the crab, so it's not all pureed together. So what I said about the double batch is, this is enough shrimp and crab mixture to actually stuff 4 fillets of fish. It's good for any kind of mild white fish. I have used this recipe in tilapia, catfish, flounder, grouper, any kind of nice mild white fish. And it's not actually stuffing and rolling. I'm just actually laying it right on top of the fish and baking it. So the leftover stuffing, what you can do is chill it in the refrigerator panko bread it and make crab cakes, or what I've saved for later on, once we stuff our fish, I emptied out some large white mushrooms, and you can stuff them inside the mushrooms. And what I do with this recipe is I take 1 slice of Munster cheese, fold it up, more cheese with the fish, I fold it up, put it in the bottom, and then put the stuffing right on top. Bake it in the oven for a half an hour on 350 degrees, and with a little scampi sauce in the bottom, and you have a phenomenal appetizer. So we're folding this. At this point, I did not add any breadcrumbs yet. So we just have this nice cheesy, spicy, yummy mixture here. And we're just gonna tighten it up. I like to use a half a cup of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. I use the Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. I think it binds it a little bit better than the panko, because at the end, what we're going to do is just top the entire dish off with some panko breadcrumbs, because they get nice and crispy, and we want the top of the fish while it's baking to get nice and crispy, so you'll have a little texture there. So we're just going to mix this in, and then we'll be ready to stuff our fish. And while okay, so now that we have our stuffing ready, we actually refrigerated it for about a half an hour just to chill it up and get it a little firm. And today I have some nice fresh tilapia fillets. What I'm going to do is season each one with a little bit of salt and pepper before I stuff it. Just that extra seasoning on there. We're going to put one thin slice of Munster cheese. Yes, more cheese on the fish. Munster cheese right on there before we bake it in the oven. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees. We're going to leave it in the oven for about 30 minutes. I put one nice scoop on there, and then we're going to flatten it out. So we have a lot of nice stuffing there. We want a nice thin stuffing. We'll put the stuffing and smooth it out right across the fish. And as I said, any fish will do with this. A nice light, mild white fish is what takes this the best. Because it's such a flavorful stuffing, you don't need salmon or anything that's full of more natural oils. You want something that is mild. And I already started stuffing some mushrooms as well, because you see we have a lot of stuffing left over. You can make crab cakes or stuff some mushrooms in a little scampi sauce. Just going to wet my hands a little while I touch the stuffing and flatten it down. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just going to flatten out the stuffing on top of the fish. Get it nice and flat. Cover as much of the fish as you possibly can. But you don't want it to go down in the pan, because you don't want the scampi sauce to start making the stuffing mushy. So just going to flatten out the stuffing here. And then top with a little panko breadcrumbs. I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. Okay, I just made a simple scampi sauce. Lemon, white wine, garlic, and butter. I'm just going to drizzle this over the top so it has a little cooking liquid. Got to cook it in some nice flavor here. Okay, we're just going to pop this in a 400-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes uncovered. Okay, so I just pulled this out of our 400-degree oven. As you can see, it's nice and toasty brown on top. All I did was steam up a little rice and some green beans. I'm going to place one right on top here. Put a little fresh parsley and a lemon wedge. I do have a little chili lime aioli that I have to put on all my fish dishes just for presentation. It's incredible. And Paula, I hope to see you at the final, because you really can't go another day without having this recipe. Thank you. Bye now.